Aren't we all?
Good morning there, brother Wets.
Morning, man.
We're gonna we're live on Facebook here today, kids. Today is our blessed day every month when we get to visit with Sam Tran, the Samurai Nader. And today, kids, we're gonna have a little bit of an interesting line of discussion. We're gonna talk about life and some of the things that we're dealing with in our life. There's so many interesting discussions to be had out there. Things from what's going on with the environment, what can be done about it. What's going on with with our health environment, things like some of the stuff that Sam's been putting out lately. Some of the stuff exposing the pharmaceutical, as I like to call them, the pharmaceutical industry, and just some of their blatant corruption that is going on. And so yeah, Sam, I've always loved talking with you because you just have so much wisdom and so much awesome knowledge, and from somebody that literally spent 23 years inside that industry. It's kind of interesting hearing what you have to say about things like that, just because you were involved with it and making a living off of it for a long time. And so,
yeah, I bought into it like a lot of people did, and a lot of people do. I think I have a pretty unique perspective because of that time spent in the industry. It kind of really opened up my eyes.
Yeah, for me, my mom was an interesting case study, I think.
Yeah.
Because she was born sick. She was literally born sick. She had a 6th grade education because she could never stay healthy long enough to make it through a school year. And she had so many surgeries. I'll never forget the scars on her body. She had so many parts and pieces removed. And she was on 22 different medications when she passed away. She developed a cyst on the backside of one of her kidneys that poisoned her spinal fluid, gave her a rare case of spinal meningitis, and this was back before they had rocephalin to combat that, and it turned her into a vegetable. In 4 days, she was gone. I'll never forget the look of her arms. Her arms were completely covered. They were like completely black and blue from all of their poking her, trying to get IVs in there and such. And we just unplugged this. She had made it clear she didn't want to live on a machine. So once her brain was gone, we just unhooked it and watched her die. And it was, that was 29 years ago. And I'll tell you, I've still never gotten over it. I have this incredible disdain for the whole industry. When I read that book, World Without Cancer, back in 1993, all I could think about was my mom.
Yeah.
And, and so I'm really proud to be part of the Kong family, part of this mission, because it is a really world-changing mission. It is, it's so fascinating. Like you just shared out another post today about another family that got on the Kong train, baby. And here's another world changed.
So that's I feel so blessed because I have this second chance, because I think most people. Well, for me, I you guys know my story. I come from Vietnam. I was a refugee from the Vietnam War. I came over here when I was 6. And so I got this chance at life, and this country is the land of the free, and it's a great country, But there's issues here, just like there's issues in every country. And then I feel blessed again because I survived a near-death experience, and I had this awakening to a higher purpose of sharing health with people as opposed to waiting around and treating them once they're sick, So I feel destined for this cause and this mission that we both share, that all of us share.
So for our people that are not really familiar with your story, and people that are gonna be listening to this as time goes by, what what was your attitude towards Kangen water before your near-death experience?
I was probably the strongest skeptic because of my experience. I come from the pharmaceutical world. I was already working in healthcare and medicine and trying to find a cure for cancer and things like that. So I was inspired to do that. I think everyone that goes into healthcare is inspired by some crisis or tragedy in their life, that they would take on this mission. Because it's not easy money going into healthcare. It's a lot of long hours. There's a lot of dedication. There's a lot of nurses that work crazy hours and shifts, and the people themselves are very inspired to do this. But once you get into the politics, and things like that, and that's what turned me off. And so, so that's part of the issue. So, I just feel blessed to have the second chance, that going into a coma, experiencing, for me personally, I never experienced healthcare on the receiving end. I was always the one that was helping other people, either working in the hospital or working in pharmaceutical research. Like, I was a part of the solution. I wasn't the recipient. And then when I became the recipient, I was, I went into a coma. I woke up and I had vertigo. And JJ, have you had vertigo before? You know what that is?
I've only had like the sensation of it when there's this place down in the Grand Canyon. I call it the Indiana Jones cave.
Yeah.
It's this cave that you crawl through, and you go up like this on an upward trajectory. And then as soon as you get to the apex of it and you start heading down the other side, you're looking down this thing, and all you can see is the end of this hole and the bottom of South Canyon, which is about 900 feet down. And from where you're at, it looks like you're like, when you get to the end, you're just like, you just drop off into nothingness, and so that's probably the closest I've ever come to like experiencing vertigo. I always tell people that when you go down the Grand Canyon, it's 20 some odd days of river rafting, and you have hundreds and hundreds of rapids, and you literally rig to flip every single day. And it's scary. There's a lot of, it's a crazy, dangerous place. And I always say I'm scared to death until I get to the Indiana Jones cave. And once I make it up through there or drop down into the little area, I'd sit there and like shit, once I'm done with the Indiana Jones cave, I'm like, yeah, rapids, big deal, let's get after this,
Yeah, vertigo is probably not that exciting.
Yeah.
So vertigo is this sensation that you're always dizzy and the world is spinning, basically. So when I hit my head, I dislodged some crystals inside my inner ear. Inside your inner ear is this canal, right? So the circular canal, and these little hairs, and these little crystals, they move around, and wherever, if you're standing, they trigger these hairs that are in one position. But when you're laying down, the crystals trigger the crystals move to another position, and they trigger some other hairs that tell your body and your brain that you're laying down. So when I hit my head, I dislodged something in this ear, while this ear was still good. So my brain was getting mixed signals that I was standing up and laying down at the same time.
Wow. What did you what did you do about that?
So I didn't know what the heck was going on. So my doctor said, you got vertigo. It'll resolve itself in 6 months, a year, or 2 years. And so every time I moved my head, the world was literally spinning, and I'd have to sit down, and I felt like throwing up. But they had some anti-nausea pills for me, though. And so I had to take that for a couple of years, and that was the treatment. That was the standard of care. So I said, I'm not having any of this crap. So I did some research into natural cures for vertigo. And one of the videos it came up was from a TV show called The Doctors. It's like four doctors. They have a TV show and they talk about various medical topics. And one of the topics they talked about was this hat called Dizzy Fix. Right? It's a hat that you buy, and it's got this oil-filled tube that's like it's kind of like a funny-looking W shape or something like that in the front. And you move your head a certain way to get the pellet that's inside the tube to go from one side to the other side. And when you move your head, the crystals, because it's oil-filled, it moves kind of slowly, so you have to kind of hold your head a certain way. When you do that, it moves the crystals inside your ear back to the appropriate position. So when I did that for a couple of days, my vertigo went away and never came back.
Wow.
Then I got really upset at my doctor. And then I went and talked to him about how come he never told me about this.
And what was his answer?
Well, he didn't know about it.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not his fault. He didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And then it made me think about, wow, what do the doctors know? Well, the doctors know whatever the pharmacy board teaches them, and whatever the drug companies teach the pharmacy board.
Right.
And that's all they know. You know, if you really look at Western medicine, there's only three tools, right? Right. So you've got chemicals, you've got radiation, and you got cut it off. And if that doesn't work, you could do chemicals, radiation, and cut it off. If that doesn't work, you could do chemicals, radiation, cut it off.
That's what they did to my mom.
If that really doesn't work, you could do chemicals, radiation, cut it off again.
Or tell you finally there's nothing they can do
Exactly.
after they've destroyed your body.
Exactly, right? There's no nutrition, there's no change of lifestyle, there's no hydration, there's no, getting some sunlight, there's no, just nothing else except chemicals, radiation, and cut it off.
Yeah. And speaking of sunlight, heck, they've got half the world terrified of the sun. Mm-hmm. It's like me, I never, ever use sunscreen.
Yeah.
The last time I used sunscreen, I ended up with blisters all over myself.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the end of that BS, man. I'm done with that.
Yeah. It's so if JJ, can you I don't know if you can pull this up on your screen, maybe share your screen with people, but is it trouble to share your screen or
yeah,
maybe
it's possible. What do we
just on your Zoom there at the bottom, it says share.
Right. And what do I want to share?
Just share your screen and then open up Chrome or Google or something like that.
Okay.
There it is. Okay, good. Now one of those tabs there, just type in Google or.
So are you guys seeing this?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
I wonder if the live show's seeing it. Hang on one second. Let me try because I don't think that the live side is actually seeing it. So I don't want them to be able to see what we're doing here. So I will try sharing this screen. And that should put it. So
okay, great. All right, so type in chemical industry. Do Wikipedia for chemical industry. I think it should be the first or second result there once you search it. So it's quite interesting. Like you find the different industry because we know the chemical industry is part of the oil industry, right? You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my son Keegan said the live feed isn't showing it.
Okay. All right.
He said what?
The live feed is not showing your screen.
It's not.
No.
Okay, let me now that I'm onto this, I'm going to stop the share again and reshare. Because every time I share, I have an option to choose different screens to share. And I don't know why I can't get it into. Oh, I know why. Okay. So I want to share.
I could also join from my side, JJ. And
yeah, if you do it from your side, then it'll show up better, because my side, I'm showing the live feed to.
Can I try it? You want me to try it?
Yeah, either of you two. If either of you two share your screen, then it'll automatically show to the live side.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let me try, because I'm gonna take you guys on a tour today.
Nice. Our tour guide.
Tour guide, right?
Dang
so
it.
I might have to hang on. I might have to let me join from my computer here. So hang on, okay, guys. Give me like 10 seconds.
We got Sam Tran in stereo.
Okay, there we go. Let me turn this thing off. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I
got a reverberation going.
Can you quit the one?
Yikes.
Yikes. There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Where did the volume go?
Can you hear us?
Hang on here. Let me leave meeting.
The trials and tribulations of technology, and we are breaking barriers. Kong style, baby. Kong style.
Yeah, it's always a constant battle with technology. What do we always? I always call it technical difficulties.
Can you hear me now?
There we go.
Can you hear us?
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, and you're good on the live feed.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Okay, let me pull this up here. Chemical industry. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys here. Share, and then share screen. Okay, can you guys see that?
No, sir.
Let's see here. Technical issues here.
There we go. Sam Tran has started.
There we go. Now we're seeing you.
Okay, so you see, this is very simple, right? Chemical industry. Just Google chemical industry, and you end up Wikipedia, right, guys?
Right.
Okay, so I open up Wikipedia chemical industry here. Okay, it says chemical industry comprises of companies that produce industrial chemicals, blah, 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 right? And you scroll down and you say products. And so if you scroll down, it says polymers, right? We understand this. Chemical industry makes polymers, PVC, polypropylene, polystyrene, all the things that make plastic, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got petrochemicals, other derivatives, synthetic rubber, surfactants, inorganic chemicals, nitric acid, phosphoric acid, sulfuric acid, all sorts of things, right? Oh, then look, you got life sciences. What? Life sciences is part of the chemical industry? You guys
interesting concept.
30% of the dollar output of the chemical business is the life sciences. And so what to say there, JJ? Go ahead and read that little paragraph there. It
says life sciences, about 30% of the dollar output of the chemistry business include differentiated chemical and biological substances, pharmaceuticals, products, vitamins, pesticides. While much smaller in volume than other chemical sectors, their products tend to have very high prices, over $10 per pound of of 1.5 to 6 times gross domestic product, and research and development spending at 15 to 25% of sales. Life science products are usually produced at very high specifications and are closely scrutinized by government agencies such as the Fraud and Death Administration. Pesticides are also called crop protection chemicals and are about 10% of this category and include herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides. You know, that's interesting, Sam, because I know in that audio presentation by Dr. Tennant that you shared out and I fell in love with, I've actually listened to that a bunch of times and keep listening to it because it's just absolutely fascinating. But that one thing, those fungicides, those are causing, you know, why do we have gluten problems and things like that? A huge portion of why that we have those problems are because of fungicides.
Yeah.
And fungicides are a really, 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 really bad thing, right there with chlorine and fluoride.
So you guys see what I'm looking at? You guys see that there's chemicals, there's radiation, and there's cut it off.
Yeah.
That's healthcare. That's it. That's cutting edge technology is chemicals, radiation, and cut it off. And so chemicals is pharmaceutical drugs. And that's part of the chemical industry.
Yeah.
You guys see like a conflict of interest there? Like
Very
these things
much so.
are, on one hand, they're very toxic to bacteria and fungus, right? And they kill plants. And on the other hand, we're going to use them to make you feel better.
Yeah.
From the same source. Right?
Yeah, you know what? Do something real quick here, Sam. Go to whatsonmyfood.com.
Yeah.
Well, and it also makes me think of that recent article you posted about that guy from the pharmaceutical industry saying they're not interested in getting people healthy. They're interested in profit share.
It's a business. It's a business, you know. So, you know, anytime you guys work at an office, you're going to come across politics, right?
Right.
Office politics, right? So all the scientists, what they want to do is they want to cure cancer. That's why I went into science. You know, all the researchers, all the young kids and the old people that have studied and given their whole career to science, all we want to do is find the cure for whatever killed our grandma.
Right.
Right? And or whatever is making our child sick. And so that's all we want to do. But we run into these office politics that you can't do that because you don't make enough money doing that. You make more money doing this. So then you have, you know, you get called into these director level meetings and they tell you, you know, we're going in this direction because it'll keep the company around.
Right.
Right. So there's these politics, there's these business politics, right? We're running a business. And so after a while, it can eat away at you because, you know, maybe a lot of people, and I think everyone in healthcare goes into nursing and becoming a doctor, not for the sake of making money, but that's what we end up doing. We're just a cog in the wheel of this money making machine. That's all we do.
Yeah. You know, Sam, one thing I'm wondering if you would indulge me real quick before we get back to this, because I want to just scroll down to any of these foods.
Yeah.
Well, you can go to, like, I scrolled down to rice the other day just because, you know, I've got a friend that has a restaurant that rice is one of his main gigs, because it's a Greek restaurant and they sell that Greek rice, you know, and I wanted to show him, you know, the amount of pesticides that are on rice, you know, and then the other thing is look at that. There's 6 honeybee toxins on there.
Yeah. And then you want to know what chemicals those are? Here's those chemical names. What? Piperonyl butoxide? MGK 246. Sounds like
It sounds like a gang that Trump's trying to keep out of the United States.
no, this is all chemicals. It's like, you know, it's look DDD. That sounds like it's related to DDT.
Yeah,
You know,
DDD.
you know, it's like what the hell? Where does this stuff come from? It comes from the chemical industry that we were just looking at, right? It comes from that world. And so that's what they're spraying on our food to kill, obviously to kill all these things, right? To kill all the insects and things that could eat bite the food or eat the food. Because rice, if you guys don't know this, but rice molds very easily, right? Like you, JJ, take if you do this experiment, right? If you take some rice and you wash all the pesticides off and you set it in a dish, right? Just uncooked rice, it's going to mold very easily.
How fast does that take place?
Probably about a week or so, right? But if you cook the rice, right? If you cook the rice and you set it out, it'll mold too, right? Well, there's mold everywhere, right? There's mold in the air, and so rice is just a very good nutrient source. So it's going to land on there, and it's going to mold, right? So they have to put chemicals on there, otherwise those bags of rice sitting at the store for like 2 years is going to be full of mold.
Right.
Right.
See, I never even considered the idea, you know, for the last 2.5 years, I've been cleaning all my veggies off and all that kind of stuff. And I've never even considered the thought of cleaning rice off.
Yeah, I wash it with 11.5 and then you get this yellow residue that comes off.
Yeah. And if you wash it with regular water, you don't get that residue, correct?
Yeah, you don't get that. You know.
Same with almonds.
Yeah, so another thing I want to show you guys here is you go chemicals and diabetes. That's just one of the growing diseases in our country, right? So you go to images, chemicals and diabetes, and you go to this image here. You guys see this? You guys have seen me show this before, right?
Yeah.
It's a funnel. That's all it is. Let me see if I can open the actual document here. So this was something I came across in my research from the you see it's the American Diabetes Association, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if I can scroll down here, I'll just go to figures and tables here. Right there. That's why we're sick, guys. We're not sick because we have a deficiency of chemo or radiation. That's why we have cancer. Right? It's a funnel. And you're at the end of that funnel.
Death.
It's crazy. It's all chemical industry. So,
wow.
But it's systemic, right? You can't get away from this stuff. You know, it's part of modern convenience, right? If you go down to a grocery store, you buy some apples, right? Well, you bought them from a farmer. You bought them from a grocery store. You didn't grow the apple, right? It's convenient because you don't have to grow the stuff, right? But it's systemic. So once it's out there, once it's in the environment, you know, it's going to come into your body, whether you breathe it in or eat it in or drink it in or whatever, right? It's going to come in.
So Sam, I've got a question for you, but I mean, I pretty much have a pretty good idea of what the answer to this question is, but I'm guessing that our listeners, a lot of them are not going to understand it. But what is, you know, looking at that funnel, basically all this poisons that are just being funneled into our bodies, you know. How does Kangen water come into this equation to be able to help us?
Okay, so let me pull this out. Okay, so I'll go Kangen electrolysis. No, I'll put Kangen. What's it called? Images.
It's interesting how when you punch in Kangen you get you get all of the leeches are on top.
Yeah. Well, that's, because Google, you guys know how Google works, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the whole engine, Kangen. Here it is. So I'm trying to find one of these charts. One of these Kangen water charts, right? So how does it work? Here we go. You guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you have chemicals that are positively and negatively charged, right? Back to these chemicals, right? All these chemicals here, or the chemical industry, or whatever, or the chemicals in your food, right? Just chemicals everywhere. Those chemicals have a positive and negative charge, right?
How many of them do you think actually have a negative charge?
Well, I would say most of them have a negative charge. Fluoride has a negative charge. So let's say, so check this out. So fluoride ion in water, right? Everyone has a lot of I think I'm gonna go images here. So the fluoride ion in water is a negative charge, right, guys? Right? Okay. So when something is a negative charge, it's going to be attracted. It's going to go through this membrane, right? This semi-permeable membrane. It's going to go through here, and it's going to be attracted to a positive plate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the positive plate, so it's got a collection of all these negative charges on here, right? Negative ions, right? And what water goes out of the positive plate? The purple one here, the pink one, I mean.
Yeah.
You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, the acidic.
It goes out the acidic water.
So that's what, when I've had this discussion with Mike Schieber, the filter doc, and he's saying that that the water, the machine doesn't get rid of fluoride, but what we're seeing right here, what you're talking about, you just demonstrated right there that fluoride actually just goes out the bottom hose.
Exactly.
And so there's no need to have a fluoride scrubber on your, because he sells a filter that is a fluoride scrubber, and we just saw
I
right
know.
there.
I know. I mean, fluoride is naturally in dirt.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's a byproduct of the fertilizer industry. If you guys didn't know that, it's a waste product. It's a hazardous waste. And so instead of disposing of that, paying money to dispose of that, they had someone from the aluminum or the fertilizer industry come into the health administration and say, hey, we should fluoridate our water. So that's where they dump the stuff. That's why, you look at other countries around the world, how many countries add fluoride to their water?
I can't imagine. Do any others?
There's probably two countries around the world.
Us and who else?
I don't know who. Let's see here. So you can look it up. How many countries?
Hey, while you're doing that, I want to say that I've learned over the years that there have been more fluoride-related cancer deaths in this country than all of our military deaths sustained in the history of this nation.
11 countries.
Yeah, 11 countries.
And they're all industrialized, I'd have to think.
This is so interesting, you guys, because in reading the book, in reading Bob Wright's book, and actually, no, it wasn't from Bob. He talks about fluoride and what a horrific poison it is. But in that audio by Dr. Jerry Tennant, he talks about fluoride and okay, hold on. In Bob Wright's book, he talks about how 95% of our population is iodine deficient.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what Dr. Tennant talks about in that audio presentation, that healing is voltage,
Yep.
he talks about how fluoride actually pushes out the iodine molecule out of the equation, and it replaces it. It kicks iodine out and takes its place.
Yeah.
And
So
it's like, no wonder we're all freaking iodine deficient. We got fluoride in our water and it replaces iodine, you know. It's insanity, brother. It's insanity. But I'll tell you something. Seeing what I just saw right there with the positive charge, the negative charge, what's happening, because I know my partner or my sponsor, Tim McGaffin, he told me a long time ago when, you know, in the very beginning, because we were talking about fluoride, you know, does that get taken out of the water? What happens with that? And he said that Justin Ballard, who's a young scientist guy that basically has his kitchen as his scientific laboratory, it's pretty cool, but he did these tests to show that Kangen water doesn't have any fluoride in it. Yeah. And now he said basically that the electricity destroys the fluoride. It doesn't really destroy it, it looks like. Apparently what it's doing is flushing it out the bad side.
Yeah, it's a electrostatic water filter. You know, you have electrostatic air filters.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's say you have your furnace inside your house, and you get these little white filters that you put in every 6 months. You guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Of course.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, they have electrostatic air filter. These things, right? Oh, where is it here? This thing. You know, so this is what's going on. Doesn't that look like the Kangen machine?
It sure does.
Hello.
Oh,
it's the same
classic.
thing for your air and the same thing for your water. That's like instead of air going through, you got water going through. Right?
Yeah.
So basically,
Same
it's
the UVC
electrostatic.
lamp.
It's electrostatic. You know, cleaner for your water. But you know, back to these chemicals. They're gonna come into your body. You know, they're gonna come into your body, and they're prevalent, right? You can look at the prevalence of these chemicals over the years. You guys see that chart? Okay.
Yeah.
Look what happened in the 1940s. The blue line.
Good Lord.
Very low, right? This is what is it, billions of kilograms of chemicals produced, right? And look where the blue line is in 2010 or 2009. You know, we're almost 2020 now, and so I gotta find an updated chart. But you see what's happened here. Look at what happened in the mid 90s, guys. Right here. Look. So between 1990 and 2000, right? All of a sudden, the angle of attack here just went more vertical, right? You guys see that?
Yep.
It went more vertical. It's more like a 30-degree, and all of a sudden it went to like a 50-degree angle here. So
yeah.
something happened in the 1990s, right? Check this out.
Oh, Roundup, RO, there you go.
Okay. So 1974, let's go back to that chart here. So 1974, right around here, right? We had this little blue line, this ramp up, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go. When did GMO? When did GMO start? Huh, interesting. Mid 1990s. Interesting, huh, guys?
Wow.
1994, that's when they started. Here, let's go history, right?
That's why tomatoes are the size of softballs anymore. Is that why?
Yeah. So look, BT potato was started in 1995. Other genetically crops, you know, it's all in the mid 90s, right?
Yeah, look at that. 1988, 1993, 1983.
Okay. So if you go back to that chart, all right, look what happened. Look what happened in the in the early 90s here. The blue line just freaking took off. Okay. And look at diabetes. Freaking took off too.
It went right with it like they were holding hands, running through the field of flowers.
Yeah. You know?
How do you explain that last little blue line going down like that? What do you think is up with that?
I don't know. I don't know. I got to look more closely at the data, but you know, look at the big trend here.
And this chart's almost 10 years old now.
This chart's 10 years old.
Be interesting as all get out to see a new updated chart and see where it's at.
So it all starts back here, guys.
Yeah.
It all starts back here. And so the chemical industry is, if you go back here, I'm going to go, let's look at the oil industry. Right, petroleum industry, right, guys? So I'm going to close this here. Right here, petroleum industry. It goes back, and then let's see here. History, structure, environmental, you know, oil recovery, fracturing. I don't know if it should say different industries, but maybe they won't come out and say it. Right? But you know, that's where all our chemicals come from. BP, Halliburton, ConocoPhillips, all sorts of stuff, right?
Good Lord.
It's all, yeah, it all comes back to this, because the chemical industry is part of the oil industry. You know, where, you know, some people still don't know what plastic is made out of. Plastic is made out of oil.
Yeah.
I mean, and oil is one of those chemicals. And so what do you think we got in at the pharmaceutical companies, at the back door, at the loading dock? Those semi trucks, what do you think they back up and they unload at the loading dock in the chemical, in the pharmaceutical company, JJ? Sean, what do you think?
They're utilizing, you know, their trucks are running on oil.
That's it. I mean, that's all the transportation is.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, what are the raw materials being dropped off every morning at the pharmaceutical companies? Do you think it's organic bananas?
No.
No, it's all those poisons, all those chemicals you just showed.
Yeah. And you know, what goes out the front door? Pills.
Life-saving medications for the sheep.
Yeah. Right. And so the more pills we have, the healthier we should be, right?
That's funny.
Crazy.
Yeah, you know, I mean, isn't that interesting? You got to extrapolate that out a little bit, like maybe show people that that article that you had that you posted yesterday or the day before, or whatever it was, about the chemical industry executive who said, or the pharmaceutical guy that said, we're not interested in helping people. We want to make money.
It is a straight up business strategy, guys. Most profitable industries in the U.S. Okay. In all, here it is. Here, we'll go to Forbes. Most profitable industry in all 50 states. We'll see what pops up here. But let's see here. There's aerospace. They talk about aerospace and all sorts of stuff. So we'll go profit by industry. Okay. Industry. So I like to go look at images because it's sometimes a little faster. I mean, it's, you know, if you're an investor, you're looking at where to put your money, right?
Right.
Look at that. Pharma.
Wow, keep that up there for a minute. I want to get a screenshot of that.
Pharma generic. Then you got investment managers and tobacco, pharma major, internet. I was in biotech. Savings banks, IT service, regional banks, major banks. Oh, great. We're in with the tobacco and the banks. Fantastic.
Wow.
The only thing we're missing up there is the war industry.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all, you know, that's part of, you know, which part of this is the war industry, you know?
You know,
Yeah,
it's just,
they're right there up close. That's just the top 10. I'm sure of course they don't really consider that the war in, you know, an industry. But computers and equipment,
yeah.
machinery.
Yeah. So I'm not, you know, so
Look
you
at
know,
food.
I'm not.
Look at
I'm
where
not,
food is on that, Sam. Look at food.
yeah, it's not so. So if you're an investment banker, you don't invest in food companies, okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
This is just
Food.
totally crazy.
I had one guy tell me recently that what you eat or drink has nothing to do with your health. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Holy moly. Wow.
So it just, you know, because there's a demand for this stuff, right? There's a demand for these things, and I just tell people that if you're gonna really now, if you're gonna put whole cold hard cash into something, and it's for your health, or it's gonna go fix your car or fix your roof or whatever it is, then you gotta get something delivered, right? The result has to be there. Don't tell me you're gonna fix my car and then promise this and string me along for like 10 years, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah, we'd never accept what we do, you know, with our medical industry, with our vehicles. You know, you go and take your car into the shop, you expect it to get fixed when you pay the money, you know, it comes out working. If it doesn't, you know, get back after it, get it fixed.
Yeah, if you can't fix my car, are you a real mechanic, or do you know what the hell you're doing?
Exactly.
If you don't know what you're doing, I ain't coming back to you, because you know you haven't proven that you know what you're doing.
And you know, Sam, what's interesting about that, and this is what I've learned since getting involved with the Kangen Water family, is I've come to the you know, just like smack you upside the face reality that our body is a machine, just like a freaking car.
Yeah, and I don't want no high school kid that, you know, is got food on his face working on my car. You know, like I don't want no person with that read from some books and got taught by the, you know, that got taught by the oil industry, you know, trying different chemicals on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, do you know what the hell you're doing or not? I'm a very analytical, I'm a very logical guy. So if you're gonna mess around and you're gonna poke around in this body, you better know more than I do, because the mechanic knows, you know, in my car, he's surprised that my car has 318,000 miles.
It's a
You know?
Honda or Acura, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he asked me, how do I keep my car so long? And I said, well, you're the freaking mechanic. I thought you were supposed to know more than me.
That's so funny, dude. You know, and this is such interesting discussion, because I want to tell you guys a story about my truck. I have a 2011 Dodge Ram 1500 that I bought it with about 30,000 miles on it. And I started driving it. And of course, you know, I'm checking my oil and stuff. And I was going through a quart of oil every 1,000 miles. And Dodge had the gall to tell me that that's totally normal. Like I forget what they, what is that called when they, a memo. I got a company memo sent to me saying that, you know, this big, long explanation, but ultimately what it said is consumption of a quart of oil every 1,000 miles is totally normal. I'm like, you have got to be kidding me. And then I started looking into these engines and Dodge Corporation, and they actually tell people when you go buy a Dodge truck, they tell you not to change the oil for the first 5,000 miles. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So anyway, I was able to change my spark plugs, and there were 2 plugs that were black, and the rest of them were the normal color, right? So I was able to get really pissed off at one of the local Dodge dealerships, and instead of going into the service department, I went through the sales department, and man, I was screaming bloody murder. And they ended up putting a whole new motor in my truck, a whole new brand spanking new motor, top and bottom.
Yeah.
And first, what I did is that was like 2.5 years ago now, 3 years ago. And what I did is in the first 250 miles, I changed my oil. And then 250 more miles, I changed my oil again. Then I went 500 miles, changed my oil. Went another 500, changed my oil. Then I went 1,000, changed my oil. Then another 1,000, changed my oil. By the time I had put like 6,000 or 7,000 miles on my truck, I had changed the oil like 8 times. And now my truck, I drive 5,000 miles and it doesn't go through any oil at all. And, you know, so it's the reason I mentioned this is just because it's, you know, it's just part of the whole scam of all of these businesses, all of these industries. All they're about is making money. They don't care about what's good for the vehicle or anything. They, you know, you go buy a brand new 2019 Dodge Ram, they're going to tell you not to change the oil for the first 5,000 miles. And me, I'm going to tell them to stuff it in their ear if I do, you know, I'll never buy another Dodge again. But, you know, I'd go and change my oil every 200, you know, right out of the chute, just like I did breaking that new engine in. And, you know, so it's so interesting how all this stuff relates to literally just like all this stuff is so intertwined, this horrific web of poison and deceit and lies. And, you know, it's such an interesting thing to talk about. And a lot of people don't even want to talk about it. But
hey, JJ, have you seen the new 2020 Hammerfer that's out?
The new 2020 what?
Hammerfer. The 2020 Hammerfer.
I have not. In fact, I can't even.
2020 Hammerfer. Go ahead, Hammerfer.
Hammerfer.
Go ahead and ask me what it is.
What is it?
What is that?
What is what?
The
What is the Hammerfer?
What's a Hammerfer? To pound nails with, you dummies.
Hammerfer. Hammerfer. Hey, I'm going to share some of you guys. I'm going to share something with you guys here. Check this out.
Please do.
Okay.
Drum roll.
That's my car, right? You guys have seen my car before, right?
Yep.
Yeah, pictures. Yeah.
There it is. So
it looks brand new.
2002 Acura TL, right? Okay, check this out. So I do all my own maintenance. Okay, guys. I got you know, the K&N filter and then just synthetic motor oil, right? And what I do is I you know, so this is the way you pour the oil in, right? Okay. Look inside there. That's what the inside of my engine looks like. Right, you guys see any brown sludge?
No.
Looks like brand new.
That's over 300K.
Dang.
That's over 300K, man.
That's like a guy that's aging with Kangen water. That's like the inside of Oshiro right now.
Yeah. So this was a few months ago. Oh, maybe it was last year because it's 37 degrees outside. But I'm over 318 now. So it's absolutely it's not crazy. It's just that no one's ever done this before, right? No one's ever, you just that's all I've done, guys. Is I just take care of, things burn out, like the dash lights burned out, right? And so I took my dash apart. I took my instrument cluster apart right there, and then I take it into the house and I changed the light bulbs. There's a little light bulb back here, and then you see on the back here, and then this is the before, right? And I changed these light bulbs out, and then now this is what they look like after, because I put LED blue lights in there.
Yeah.
That's not too bad for a damn Anasazi.
That's pretty cool.
Right? That's all you do. But here's the thing. What do I put in my body? What's my oil? What are my replacement parts? You know what I mean? Like, what's my fuel? It's the same damn thing. It's just a more complicated engine. Taking care of the car is an easy deal.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you've got YouTube. You could figure stuff out. But what the problem is with our societies, we keep listening to these talking heads with white lab coats, or they stand behind a podium and they're Democrat or Republican or whatever it is. It's just all these talking heads. And they don't know jack.
And they're all burning down the house.
Yeah. So everything's political now these days, right? Whether it's toilets or clothing, whatever, everything's political. It's like I don't give a damn about that. I'm here to take care of my family. I'm here to take care of my own stuff. I'm here to take care of my own life. I don't need anyone that's supposedly some authority telling me that, the water is okay in Flint, Michigan. It's okay to drink.
Yeah.
That's just complete BS. I don't need, if a dog can smell water and then walk away from it because it doesn't want to eat it because it knows, well, I could smell this. I could smell the stuff too. And that's all I tell people. It's like, just use some common sense. And you guys know how I speak very directly, right? I speak, I speak very directly because it's all, it's all us. What the hell are we waiting for? We're waiting for some Superman to come rescue us from us.
Well, I think what you're speaking to, again, it goes back to the lack of critical thinking today. Yeah. We've all just been indoctrinated to accept the Kool-Aid that the machine has given us, and we all walk away apathetic. You're talking about pills. I used to have this little magnet that was on a fridge, and it says, I used to care, but now I take a pill for that. Yeah. It basically summarizes and gives us an idea that people's apathy is just whatever. How many people, you look at grocery stores, people sitting in those carts pouring all out with their obesity, oxygen tubes in their noses. Now, I'm not picking on them, but what I'm saying is they're driving around in that cart grabbing everything in the death aisle, from cereals to processed foods to, they go into the pop aisle and it's like, look out, because you've got cold packs of pop going into their deal. And it's just, that's what we don't think critically anymore. We're just like, whatever. People just don't seem to care, or at least overtly demonstrate that they do. Yeah. And that's where we come in.
And that's why I tell people it's survival of the fittest, right?
That's right.
If you don't care, then nature's going to take you out.
Yeah.
I mean, every other animal on the planet has to abide by survival of the fittest, right? And we're not exempt just because we're modern or we're born in America or we got some constitution. It's just common sense, right? So if you don't take care of yourself, you're screwed. Because these things are systemic. There's plastic in our rain. You guys saw that, right?
Yeah. Big time.
I don't know if I'm sharing this. Am I still sharing the desktop here, guys?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let me look this up.
Plastic. This is probably the most prolific image that you've ever shown that I've seen from you.
Right. It's raining plastic. This is so crazy, right? It's raining plastic microfibers in the Rocky Mountains, right? So they're doing they went here and they caught some rainwater, and they're trying to look for pollution, right? And when they looked under the microscope, what they found was this. There's your pollution right there. These little black dots and stuff like that. That's your pollution. And then they found all this stuff.
What the heck are all those strands?
Fibers.
Are those plastic strands?
Yeah. Plastic strands.
Wow.
Right? There's your pollution, the little black dots. You know, the coal and the diesel fumes, and you know, that's your pollution. And this is what they find inside the rain.
So that's all that plastic is all those strands that we're seeing there.
Yeah, exactly. And where's all that come from? Where's all that come from? The oil industry.
Yeah, petroleum.
Petroleum, right? So I'm telling you, it's systemic. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the rain, it's in the food, it's everywhere, and it's going to get inside you. So that's why I tell people, either you have a filter or you are the filter.
Right.
Period. And so don't be surprised if your kidneys give out, because you need to replace your kidneys now. Go get a new one from Napa Auto Parts, I guess.
Isn't that crazy?
So, well, you know, it's interesting, JJ. So, and Sean, you know, whenever we find something that doesn't jive with what we currently know, right? We call it crazy. True?
Yeah.
Right.
But once you understand it, once you understand how something works, you know, like let's say you go to a magic show, right? And you're sitting in the audience and the magician does his trick, right? And you're just flabbergasted by how he cut the lady in half, and then how he got the rings, the two metal rings to hook up and unhook and all that stuff, right? You guys have seen that show, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But then, you know, someone gives you a backstage pass, and you go backstage and he shows you how it's done. And you're like, oh, well, there's two ladies. Not just one lady, but they're two ladies and they're dressed exactly alike. And there's a secret latch on the rings, right? That you press this button and the latch opens.
A dirty bastard.
And then you sit, then you go out, hey, the second show is about to start. You need to leave backstage and go get back to your seat. And then you watch the second show, right? Is it still crazy? Is it still fascinating?
No.
No, exactly. So that's why I've got the decoder ring, guys. I know how the evil empire works. You know, I was a stormtrooper before.
And now you're a rebel.
I'm a rogue. I went rogue.
You're a rogue rebel with a cause.
That's right. And so, because
you're the Vietnamese James Dean.
That's why I call him the Samurai Nader.
just Samurai will do.
Yeah.
The Terminator ain't got nothing on you, Samurai.
No, so yeah, so it's survival of the fittest, guys. That's all it is, you know. And so, I hope that was helpful. I mean, I'm so tapped in because this thing has decalcified my brain so much that I can connect, you know, 10,000 years back and 10,000 years forward. It all comes back to what the heck we're doing on this planet. You know, it's all human doing, right? Any of you guys think panda bears screwed up this planet?
No.
No. How about squirrels? Do you think squirrels are really ruining the planet here?
Yep, it's all the squirrels' fault.
They're trying, but they're just not.
Who's like, what species is screwing up this planet here?
The human squirrels.
You know?
Yeah.
And then at the same time,
directions, we're going to end up where we're headed, and that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah. And
then, Sam, before we head out of here, because I know we're a little over an hour, probably time to get our butts out of here and get walking and rolling, get changing the world. But I've got this nurse, a young gal nurse that lives down in Texas that's been You know, she's actually an RN, and she's got a second job as working at a restaurant.
Wow.
And,
Nurse, that's wow. Okay.
yeah, I mean, amazing. She's a young gal. It's pretty impressive, really, that she's a RN and has a second job. It's amazing to me that somebody could be an RN and then still need to have a second job to be able to make their ends meet. But, you know, you were talking earlier in the beginning of the show about, you know, all these people in the healthcare industry that are just working ridiculous hours and, you know, literally killing themselves to try and help other people.
Yeah.
You know, what do you have to say, you know, like as just a little piece of advice? Because I know this RN lady, the reason we're talking is because she's curious, and, you know, she's curious about Kangen water. But, you know, she's going through that phase that we all had to go through of learning what it is and all that kind of stuff. What kind of advice would you have for that gal and people that are in her same situation? What would the best thing that you would recommend as somebody that kind of came from their side of the fence and now you're on the other side?
Yeah, I would tell them to, you know, what's the happiness that she's looking for? What's the freedom that she's looking for? What's the dream that she's working on? Because it's not about the water. It's not about the machine. It's not about Kangen or Kongen or whatever you want to call it, right? That's just like peanuts. That's just like so small in the big picture of things. What kind of life are you trying to design and create? Because a nurse that's working 2 jobs, there's something wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
Right? So all we have is we have a better way. Right?
Yes.
If you want to get paid digging graves, then by all means, like, become a very proficient digger. If you want to design your life moving rocks around, then go ahead and go move all the rocks you want. You know, there's people working hard in this country trying to make a living, trying to find their happiness. Right? All I do is I just drink water. And I think everyone can drink water. But I'm not a professional gambler in the sense I play poker, you know, on the World Series of Poker and make money that way. That's a different skill set, you know. But as far as making money, yeah, I can drink water and make money. And so can everyone else too. You know,
yeah,
so
great.
But the whole point of the discussion is like, have her tell you what she wants. Like, she wants more free time. She wants to spend time with the family, or go on vacation more, or travel, or I don't know what it is. She went into healthcare, right? Because it's a stable job. It's a very high level contribution, right?
Yeah.
To make an income, right? But apparently it's not making enough income, so she's got to become a waitress. But I don't think she likes carrying other people's food around. Does she? Maybe she does. I don't know.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
But many people today are doing things to make an income to go experience life. Life, you know, I tell, I only realized this after I went into a coma, but I wasn't born to work and pay bills. I really wasn't. And I don't think most people, most animals on this planet were born to work and pay bills. But the ones that work and pay bills the most are just the humans.
Yeah.
So there's something wrong here, that we have everything in abundance on this planet, but just no time and no freedom. Like, it feels like I'm a farm animal, you know?
What was that book, Animal Farm?
Yeah. Well. I'll and this, we'll have a discussion about this later, right? But we are farm animals. But the farm that we live on is a tax farm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's why when you're born, you're given a social security number. That's your number. They might as well brand that on your forehead, or burn that into your skin like cattle, because that's your number.
Yeah. And nowadays you can't even do anything without it.
Yeah.
You know, that's a whole nother discussion. I mean, it just goes into the deepness of just how bad this all is. I mean, when they created the Social Security Administration, it was guaranteed to everybody that it would never, ever, ever be used for anything other than dealing with the Social Security Administration. Yeah. And now it is a de facto ID number, and that ultimately is strapped to your head because you can't do anything without it.
Yeah. So you know, if you try to get citizen in some other country, you got to bring so much money in, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
And so wait, that's just another farm. You know, so you don't want to play with this farmer, so you leave to the Canadian farm, or you leave to the Mexico farm, or whatever citizenship that you want. You're just trying to go, hey, can I switch farms? And well, if you want to switch farms, you gotta pay the farmer, which is the government, right? It's crazy, but I would tell that nurse is like focus on what the dream that she's working on, because all we have is just a vehicle. I just got a nice ride. You know, college is just a ride. You know, I think I see Roger's driving a big semi truck or something there, and so you know, so Roger's in a big rig, and he's using his job of his to create his life, right, Roger? There it is.
Yes, that's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a big semi truck, 2 trailers behind it, and try to make a living. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and it's just a vehicle to make a living. But what Roger really wants is to live, to experience life. You know, and so JJ, I would tell that nurse to what is the life that she wants, and just get into the right tool. So Roger, how long have you been doing that, buddy?
6 years too long.
6 years too long? Yeah. So you're building your Kangen freedom business too, right?
Yeah, I do that too, but still haven't gained very much traction yet. But I never gave up. So
yeah,
I've made it here.
Jedi.
I've made it here. I've been truck driver since 11 years now. I did city driving for 6 years and highway driving for 6 years. Got suspended 2 months ago on the highway driving, and today they sent me a letter back that I can go back to work. Yeah. But I have another trip planned. I'm hopping on a mission trip on Friday, flying out to Nicaragua and go out there with a team of 11 people to build a school for people to educate their kids better. So.
Oh yeah, dude, I would love to take one of those trips with you sometime. You know, that's what we're all about. You know, we're all on the same planet. We're all trying to help each other out. So, but be safe out there, Roger.
Yeah, that's one of the trips. I got another one coming just after New Year, going to the Dominican Republic to build houses for poor people.
Wow, fantastic! I gotta get together with you.
I love to do that stuff.
Yeah. So JJ, and Roger and Sean, all we do is we just have a better way for people to create a living, and to clean their body and just be healthy. You know.
That's it.
Boy, did old Dan Edlund really give us all a great picture of how much better of a way it is yesterday. Holy crap! Holy man, what an incredible thing we have here. We have such an incredible gift every single day. I pinch myself and thank God and Mr. Ashiro for what they've put into my hands to be able to help accomplish our mission, because we are the Kong family and we're here to change the world. And how is it again, Sean, that we're doing that?
1 glass of hydrogen-rich, oxygen-saturated, supremely hydrating Conga 9.5 at a time. Thank you kindly.
Amen, baby. One lightning bolt in a box, one incredibly informative guest and show at a time. Sam Tran, my friend, we love you so much, and we're so blessed. And I'm so thankful every day that God brought you back, man, that you're here to do what you do, because you are literally the epitome of helping others. And I just love it. And I want to do everything in my power to emulate what you're doing and continue to learn from you and share that knowledge out to the world as much as I'm able for the rest of my living days. And so, thank you, buddy. I love you so much.
Thank you,
man.
guys.
I
Thank you
look
for
forward
having me
to
on.
next month when we get to do this again, and look forward to learning and sharing and everything else that we do in between, brother. So
it's a good life. It's a good mission, and we've got something good in our hands that can really change the world. And it's the simplest thing ever. It's the most ingenious thing ever, right?
Right. The genius is in its simplicity.
Simplicity is so amazing. Go ahead, Sean.
The genius is in its simplicity.
Yes.
Yeah.
So crazy.
It's nuts. Yeah.
Well, now you kids know why we love this guy so much. HooDeeHoooo! Thank you so much, Sam. Once again, buddy. Everybody, get out there, change the world, starting with your own. Do not forget your hugs, kids. You need these. These are really important. HooDeeHoooo! There you go,
Right.
Sam. Love it.
HooDeeHoooo!
Oh, I love you guys all so much. To everybody on the live side, I hope you guys got as much value out of this as we did. Ricky, Marilyn. Oh, who else is in here? Marilyn, Brother Lisa, Dickie, Jerry, John.
JJ.
Love all you guys. John Stevens, Stephanie, my sweetheart. Love you, Ronnie. You guys are awesome. You guys make it a great day. And we'll be back tomorrow for some more fun.
All right, bye, guys.
HooDeeHoooo!
HooDeeHoooo! Make this day count.
One love, gentlemen.
Love you guys. Bye for now.
Same to you, man. I love you. Bye-bye.
See you, brother. Give that sweetie of yours a hug for me.
We'll do that. I did already this morning.
Cool. Give her one for me.
Will do.
All right, buddy. Bye for now, buddy. Be safe out there.